Okay, guys, welcome back to the channel. We're here for another endurance at Road America in the LMP3. As you can see, I have qualified significantly better than I did in the last one, where before we were starting P13. Now we have put it on pole.
It's time!
Let's see what we can do with it. And let's go, baby. And look at that start. Coming down the main straight. Got a nice little gap to P2. Let's see if we can keep some heat in these tires and hold off the fight. Let's see if we can hold off Zach behind. Here's our first test. Coming down the back straight. I stayed a little defensive. And we're able to survive the first encounter. Steven takes over second. Keep an eye on that name. You're going to be seeing a lot of Steven today. So far, we're holding a pretty good line, holding everyone off. Getting ready to come into the carousel for the first time. Got to lift a little bit more than I normally would, just because, you know, at cold tires, I don't want to wash out and lose it before we get going. Seems like everyone's being a little conservative this time on the start. He takes a little sniff up the inside, but I don't know if it's just to try and intimidate me there, or if he had legit thought he was going to make a dive. Coming around, that's the end of lap one. Now everything's nice and toasty warm. Nice exit. Going down the main straight, coming into lap two with 5/10. And it's time to get focused up. Put your head down. Can't quite do it. He's got a run on me going around the outside here. Give him a little squeeze. Into the braking zone. I wind up coming out on top. Steven's hanging on to second place over Zach. All I can hope for right now is that Zach keeps putting up a fight and holding Steven up a little bit. Let me get into a rhythm, maybe get a little bit of a gap while those two fight it out. As you can see in the carousel, I'm being a little more aggressive on the throttle, trying to maintain more speed. And it looks like we got a nice gap to hold him off for the next braking zone. Steven went a little defensive, so he's expecting the fight from Zach. And as we come out of the last corner, we've opened up almost a 1 second gap to the cars behind. Let's move on. Lap 5, still a P1. Zach did manage to get around Steven, and he's giving me a little bit of a fight right now. Not quite enough for him to make a dive up the inside here. I'm running purple laps right now, so you can see we're cruising. I just got to keep this pace up. As you can see by now, everything's nice and warm. Going through the carousel, I have so much more speed. I'm able to get on throttle so much sooner than I was before. But we still got Zach to contend with here. Again, able to hold him off, coming through 12. Coming out of 14, still got him off there. It's just a matter of getting the better exit, trying to keep him out of the tow going down the straight. And he had a very poor exit, so I was able to open up over a second, almost a 2-second gap. And now we move ahead to lap 8, still in P1, passing some GT cars. Right about now, we're going to get into this lap. We're going to be hitting the first bit of GT traffic, as Max has a bit of a blink right next to me. Kind of scared me a little bit, because it is frustrating to have on both ends, for the person that is dealing with it and the person that's blinking. You know, because of a bad network connection, they're going to ruin their race and everyone else's around them. So hopefully this flag doesn't mess too many people up. And the first go around, they're always pretty bunched up, so you've got to manage traffic as best you can. But right now, the GT cars aren't putting up too much of a, causing too much of a roadblock. Catching them in pretty straightforward areas. Number 12 gives me a little bit of a slowdown, but not that much. Coming down the main straight, I should be able to pick off a few more of these guys without too much problem. Steven's about 3 seconds behind us right now. He's taken back over second place. And he was running a great race. He was running a great race the entire time.
Really great stuff, dude.
Not going to be able to get past those guys right there before the corner, so let up a little early, overslowed a little more so I can get the better exit. Wish I could have caught more traffic here on the back straight, but such is life of multi-class racing. Can't get traffic where you want it. You got to deal with it where it is. My only luck right now is that I haven't caught any of the GT cars mid-carousel, because if you're stuck behind a GT car, the carousel is you're going to lose the most amount of time on track at the carousel behind GT cars. But there is a nice tight pack of 3 here that I'm going to catch at a really awkward time. I just got to be patient and wait. I can only get one right here. I'm going to have to get the other 2 on the straight. It's going to give Steven a little bit of a run. Not a lot. He's still one, almost 2 seconds behind.
Wyatt, thanks for saying watch. Have fun with it.
Those 3 cars did cause Steven to literally half my distance.
Box.
Not much between then and now. I'm coming in for our first pit stop. Steven was about 0.8 behind us. He'd caught up, but never really caught up to a point where he could challenge. So we're coming in for our first bit of fuel. Amazing first stint. Held it in P1 the entire time. We're going to take a full tank of gas, 4 new tires. Hopefully we come out with some clean air. I can get a nice clean out lap and keep the lead after Steven pits. So we're on lap 43, still P2. Steven is right up our bumper, about 0.3 back. We're still sitting in second. Someone didn't pit. Steven pit the lap after. Put him behind us, but we're still in P2. So this is my main rival for the race here. He's got about 0.3 on me. He gets a much better exit than I do. Coming out of 2. Getting a run down the back straight. Trying to give him a squeeze to the right. Managed to outbrake him. Hold the position. He tries to switch back on us. Thinks wiser about it going into the next turn. It's a really tricky braking zone with it being uphill and off camber. It's easy to lock up a tire right there. So Steven backed out. Lived to fight another day. He's still right on my bumper. Now I got Steven sniffing my diffuser with GT cars. Thankfully, this one is not a factor. It doesn't slow us up at all. He tries to get a sniff on the inside, but I get a much better exit. And again, he backs out, thinking the wiser of trying to make a pass through that corner. All I need to do is focus on getting a good exit, and I should be able to keep him behind me. And go defensive down the straight, try and break the toe. Lap 47, back in P1. All right, so we're on lap 47, coming down the main straight. We're coming up on LMPs to lap, as well as other GT cars, and I still have Steven right on my bumper. So the decision now is, how do I deal with traffic and keep Steven behind me? Because he's quick. So hopefully I can use these LMPs as lap cars to try and not give Steven an open line to go around me or on the inside or on the outside. So the best thing I can do is place my car in a spot that's not going to allow him to outbrake me and not allow him to go around the outside with the slower traffic. But if I'm too patient, it may give Steven the opportunity or the thought that he can try and make a pass, which could be bad for us. Make a hell of a dive on the inside there. Thinking, again, if I didn't make that move, Steven was making that move, and it would have blocked me out. So this GT car is not going to be a factor. Got a nice good exit. Still got Steven right behind us. Coming into 14. Lap car ahead of us is going to move to the side. He's going to try and tell me to pass left.
I got you. I'm just using the draft.
And as you can see, I'm just using him to try and get some draft to try and help pull away from Steven. And what I didn't know during the race was after I went through this turn, I had a little squabble with Steven. I thought Steven just wasn't able to get by him before the corner, and not realizing, no, the lapped car actually caused Steven to go off track. On lap 52, Steven's now 3.5 seconds behind us after his incident with that lapped car. I've got a little bit of breathing room. Feels nice to finally have breathing room for the first time in the race. A couple of times I was under a lot of pressure, but most of the race up to this point, I had about 3/4 to about 2 second gap to the next car behind me. So we've been running a good race. Had a couple of off tracks, nothing horrible, just clip a curb the wrong way here and there. You know, phantom off tracks that you weren't expecting. But nothing major. This point of the race is just head down, no mistakes, drive your pace. Don't overdrive the car. As you can see, I'm holding about 2-minute average laps. When I need to, I can get on it a little bit more. Bring it down to the 58, 59s when I need to push the car. But overall, I felt like I wasn't under a ton of pressure through this stint of the race. Everyone was kind of in tire saving mode, fuel saving mode. So we're gonna come in this lap 54.
Oh, I could just have a sip.
Still in P1. We're gonna give that up to Steven. We're coming in just for a splash of fuel to finish out the race. We're not taking tires. Remember guys, if you guys are liking the content, don't forget, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified every time I drop a new video. Coming out the pits right now, net P2. I got 14 seconds to the next car behind me. Now, this outlap is super important because Steven's going to have to pit again. He didn't split his strategy, so he did a full tank of gas like I did in the first pit stop, which means he's going to need a splash and dash also. So it's important for me to get my outlap as fast and as clean as possible. A little deep in that corner. I was a little nervous with the tires cooling off a little bit. Didn't quite catch that McLaren right where I wanted to. I was hoping to get him before the corner or right after the corner, not going into the braking zone. Kind of cost me a little bit. But otherwise, decent outlap. I was happy with the way it went. And as we come on the main straight, it's time to head on to the next lap. head on to lap 56. Still in P2. It's important to keep up the pace because Steven had pit at this time. And luckily, I came out ahead of Steven by about 2 seconds.
Cheers, man.
Someone behind us not happy.
Lovely that was.
Getting the big sad.
Stop.
And as we come on the back straight, Steven's about 4.2 seconds behind us. We got a nice gap. We actually opened up a bit more of a gap. Either Steven had a bad pit stop, overshot his pit stall, but works for me. Instead of coming out 1.5, 1.7 seconds behind me, he came out almost 4 seconds behind me. So once I realized I had a 4-second gap to Steven, it was time to settle in, just kind of let the pace happen, however it naturally felt. I wasn't trying to push the car, but I was just trying to get in good, solid, consistent laps. Most of the time, I was trying to keep it around, 2-minute flat to high 59s. Trying to keep some pace in hand for just in case Steven catches up.
Focus, George, focus.
And as you can see, coming on to the last lap of the race, Steven did manage to whittle down the pace all the way down. And coming on to the last lap, you can see Steven did cut down the gap, but he's still 1.7 away. So I did manage to maintain a good pace and kept Steven behind me. It was pretty uneventful. I mean, there was no real traffic to speak of, no traffic to fight, so I was able to just put in nice hot lap after hot lap, keeping it again in the high 59s to 2-minute flats. Coming down to off the back straight for the last time. Had a nice exit. You can see I'm being a little bit gentler on the throttle. I don't want to mess up, because God forbid I spin. Steven is going to be all over me if I do. So at this point, it's just bring it home. He's too far back to make a good run. Taking it through the carousel one more time. I'm eyeing up this GT car, trying to figure out where I'm going to be able to pass him. I knew it was going to be tight going to the kink, so I gave him a little heads up on the radio, like, hey, dude, I'm coming through. Just so he knows, because the GT cars have to lift going through the kink, where I can go full out. At this point, I'm actually telling chat, one more corner, one more corner, one more corner. And all I need to do is nail this exit, and we are going to finish P1 and win my first endurance race.
Certainly we have it. Yeah, we have it. Certainly we have it. Oh, yes, we have it. Good job. Vamos.
It was a mega drive.
It's Friday then. Saturday, Sunday, what?
The race could not have gone better. From flag to flag, aside from a couple of off tracks here and there for rando reasons, but nothing, no spin, no 4Xs. It was absolutely beautiful drive. This is now by far, I would say, my most favorite track and car combination. Just I couldn't ask for a better race. Track conditions were perfect. Everything just lined up absolutely right. I didn't have to fight traffic too hard. So I want to thank everyone again for coming on in today, watching the show. Again, If you guys like this content, like, subscribe, hit that notification button. Every time I drop a video, we're going to be doing weekly reviews of whatever series I'm running, whether it be Falcon or IMSA. I'm going to be doing an overall review the whole week, how I did, plus minus my safety rating and I rating. We're going to show you the best of it, the worst of it, the funniest of it every single week. Like, subscribe, hit that notification button. And if you guys want to watch these things live, I'm live on Twitch Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Start about 10 a.m. Central Time. Tune on in if you guys want to watch these races. Be a part of them. And hey, if I win at these races, I 3D print a copy of the track from my wall, and I 3D print a copy to give away in chat. So remember, if you guys want to be there, if you guys want a chance to win that track, you got to be there and you got to follow. So come on down to rbumper_gaming on Twitch, hit that follow button, and stay tuned for more race reviews.
Good race, everyone.